Hello, welcome to Filmi Ladies. This is part two of our series on all the many, or some of the many, Parineeta adaptations. If you haven't listened to last week's episode, we highly recommend that you do because in it we talked about the 1953 Hindi adaptation by Bimal Roy starring Ashok Kumar and Meenal Kumari and the 1969 Bengali adaptation by Ajay Kar starring Moushami Chatterjee, Hart, and Sumitra Chatterjee, also Hart. If you
Yeah.
can't tell, we like the Bengali one better of
Yes.
those two. And I admitted in that episode that I thought going into this that I would like the Bengali version most out of all four that we watched, because the other two are, of course, the 2005 Hindi adaptation, which I suspect everyone listening to this has probably seen. But then we discovered that there is a 1976 adaptation of this with Jitendra in it. And according to Wikipedia, so for what this is worth, this is actually a remake of the Bengali one. And I just thought, you know what's weird is seeing a movie and thinking that a role played by Sumitra Chatterjee should be played by Jitendra. And I like Jitendra, but those are not, no, no. Like when movies have tended to move from Bengali to Hindi, Amitabh Bachchan plays Sumitra Chatterjee, Dharmendra plays Uttam Kumar. Okay, fine. Those things work for me. Jiten, no. So, but of course, I was very excited to watch a Jitendra version of this because I do enjoy Jitendra. Salakshana Pandit plays Lalita, and I tend to like her okay as well. And we both, we are women of bizarre tastes. And we
We are.
like, yeah, let us see Jitendra in this. Come on, let's do it. And then we did it. And, it's like that ad where the girl's like, don't do it, girl. And then she goes, I did it. And she has popcorn stuck in her braces. That's very much us with this Jitendra version. So I think if you don't know the story of Parineeta, please refer to either the Wikipedia entry or our previous episode where we do go over that quite a bit. So we're going to go on with the basic expectation that you know the story, even if you haven't listened to our previous episode, because we do understand four Parineetas is a lot. Oh boy, do we understand.
Is it? Is it though?
So, what do you think about the Jitendra version? What do you think about its name change? And what do you think about its poster, which is
Oh,
truly
I love it.
iconic?
I know I'm already on thin ice with you, so I will not make the suggestion again, but I would not mind doing a 1 hour episode on the Sankoch poster.
It is, no, I'm with you. If we're going to do any more with this movie, it should be that poster. I'm going to try to put it as my background on Zoom as we talk so that people can see it if
You
they
should do
like,
it.
I mean, you can Google it and find it, but yeah,
It's
talk about the
wonderful.
poster, talk about the title, talk about it
So
all.
first of all, Sankoch, at first I was like, oh, this is a Parineeta version? Oh, okay. Well, why did they change the name? Like, so Parineeta was good enough for Bimal Roy. It was good enough for Ajay Kar. It was, it's like such a well-known thing. And eventually it was good enough for Pradeep Sarkar. But apparently Anil Ganguly was like, no, it's not good enough for me, you guys. I'm going to change the name. What does he change it to? Sankoch. Sankoch is a Hindi word that means hesitation. And I was like, yes, you should have Sankoch. You should have hesitated before you cast this film. I will say that I low-key enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed it more than the Vimal Roy version. Watch subscribers when we say this.
Wow. Okay, I did not see that coming. Tell us more.
Gonna be my most hated. Like I thought this was going to be bottom of the barrel for me, because like you, I was like, wow, the audacity to cast Jitendra in a role that has been played by Dada Moni and Samitra Chatterjee. And then you're like, you know what? We're going to cast Jitendra. Like either you're a genius or you're just crazy or you're
Because
like a crazy genius.
it is true that sometimes bizarre casting works out great. Like we talk about Saif Ali Khan and Omkara, for
In
example.
Langda Tyagi. Yeah, that is like my
Yeah,
gold
that's
standard of like
number one.
crazy casting.
We have a whole episode about people being cast against type where we talk about some of these things and sometimes really interesting and sometimes really amazing things happen. Not sure that this is one of them, although I would like to say this just felt weak overall to me.
Yeah.
So it's not specifically Jitendra's fault at all, I
Yeah.
don't think.
I
Anyway,
actually feel like Jitendra was the highlight of this movie for me, if I can say that this movie has a highlight,
you can.
because it was otherwise quite a morass. It was quite bad. 0 out of 10, do not recommend. It is
Except
very
you
much
liked
an
it,
avoidar
but you liked it more than Bimmel Roy. So is Bimmel Roy?
because it was more entertaining.
Well, yeah. Okay.
At least it made me giggle. It held my attention. It passed my cell phone test, not necessarily for good reasons, but at least I wasn't bored. Also, the artistic choice of putting Jitendra in extremely tight, very, very extremely tight, skin tight white pants. I mean, you know what? I salute the courage of the costume designer. I salute the courage of the director. I salute Jitendra's non-existent blood circulation. After watching Ashok Kumar in like a dhoti and a kurta pajama and seeing Samitra Chatterjee in his kala coat looking very dapper, what we needed was Jitendra in white polyester pants. I am not mad about it. I'm just going to say that.
So in your interpretation, it is current day to when the time the film is made, yes?
I was a little confused about that, to be honest. I think it was because primarily because of the attire, primarily because of Jitendra's
I
attire. But
don't
then
remember
Sulakshana Pandit,
cars. There are cars in that movie, and I
there
just
are cars in that movie, and she was very much wearing polyester.
oh boy, was she.
Yeah, and then the bouffants and everything. So I assume it was a 1976 movie, and it was meant to be
Yeah, I
1976.
think so.
Um,
Yeah, you know
so
what? When I look back at my screen grabs, he's wearing a very wild patterned tie and a
yeah,
gray suit. Yeah, you're right. And someone is wearing like a sheer polyester shirt and everything. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, it has to
so it's
be.
very 70s. And the only thing I kept thinking was if you're going to make it 70s, just go for it. Just go for it, man. Make it 70s. Give us a Jitendra number. Give us a dance number. Have him shimmy,
Yeah.
shimmy his hips. Why not? If
And
we're
we
going to
didn't
cast it
get
with her,
that.
we didn't get that. But I think that was a mistake. I
Yeah,
mean, at least a dream sequence would have been nice. And it's like, I actually thought he was funny because, okay, here's the thing. I'm not just saying this to be contrary, okay, although it might seem so. The reason that Jitendra as Shekhar worked for me is because Jitendra does immature really well.
that's
And
true.
by right, like he does immature, he does vulnerable, he does don't look before you leap very well. He does wide eyed, bright eyed, and bushy tailed, enthusiastic person really well. I mean, just watch Karma, which is one of my
Right.
most favorite movies. He is such a darling. He's such a delight in that. And so I think some of Shekhar is, I think, meant to be this very like petulant,
Yeah.
bratty person. He is low-key very toxic. He's more toxic in some versions than he is in others. Like he's not as toxic the way Soumitra Chatterjee plays him, but he's definitely very, very hella toxic the way Saif Ali Khan plays him. That's mostly the writing. But he is meant to be petulant and immature and someone who kind of like is unaware of his male privilege, but is also conveniently aware of it and wields it as a way to control other people. And I feel like Jitendra just does that better than, say, Ashok Kumar does, because Ashok Kumar just didn't look like he gave a shit in that movie, right?
Yeah.
At least Jitendra, there's scenes where, like when he's jealous that
Yeah.
Lalita is
Right.
chit-chatting with the neighbor, who I don't remember his name. I just remember him as the actor from Julie. So I kept hearing the Julie like soundtrack in my head every time he would come on screen because he's such a Casper Milquetoast. But I was like, Julie, do you
Yeah.
love me? Anyway, so like when he's jealous and stuff, I enjoyed that. When he's like standing on the terrace with his like shirt a little bit unbuttoned, looking off into the distance and trying to be like upset, I enjoyed it. I thought he was entertaining. So at least he was giving me more, and he was selling some of the toxicity and the petulance far more than Dadamuni did. So for that alone, I would say that I enjoyed Sankoch more because at least the character of Shekhar made some sense to me.
That, you know what? I now that you say that, I agree with you. Jitendra is definitely doing something, and it's things that those are things that make sense with this
Yeah.
picture as we are understanding it. And again,
Hmm.
the book, but um yeah, I take your meaning.
Yeah.
I'm being convinced.
Okay. You know who's gonna unfriend me? Amrita.
That's okay.
I'm gonna WhatsApp her next, and then it'll be like, you're blocked or
Wow.
something.
I mean, she's such a 70s lover like I am. I feel like we could, I don't know if she's seen this movie. I'd never heard anyone talk about this film at all that I can,
Never.
and I think I see why. Like it just kind of because it's
Yeah.
giving, it's not doing the thing that I think most people love Jitendra for most, which is dancing.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's not, um, I have a lot to say about Selection, a pundit. Are there more thoughts on Jitendra you would like to share before we shift?
Yes, my only thought was I wonder, I don't know anything about the background of this movie, but I did wonder, like, did Jitendra really like lobby for this role? Did he really want this role? Because as an actor, it would be interesting to do a movie like that's based on Parineeta and where you know that some really big names have done
Mm-hmm.
that role before. It would be
Yeah.
very tempting to step into those shoes at least. And I feel like Jitendra probably thought like, oh, he's petulant and he's toxic and he's this like privileged brat. I can do that.
Yeah.
That's in my wheelhouse, you know.
Yeah.
So I think it was good casting. And I think Jitendra did a good job. And he also sold the romance to me. Like there were definitely some times where I was like, okay, I get it. I see the sparks. Selection did not bring the spark. She was the definition of a damp squib. But poor Jitendra was trying. He
I
was trying to light the fire and she was like pouring buckets of cold water on it.
I have seen Selection a pundit in quite a few films. To me, she is Neetu Singh photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy.
Uh,
You know, I feel like it's like you can't get Neetu Singh, so you get her instead kind of thing, except weepier.
yeah, VPR.
She has to do a lot of weeping in this movie. They've put her in so much makeup that like she's lying in bed at night wearing just, I mean, this is standard. We see this a lot
I
in,
noticed this too.
right?
Yeah.
But it's real, it's like super glossy lipstick and like she just
Her eye makeup.
they have her do what I can only describe as like pouty, sexy baby. She's always like pouting, but like with her mouth a little bit open and like
Yeah.
she's supposed to be sexy.
Her eyelashes.
I don't know what this poor woman is doing, and I don't know if it's her fault or the director's fault, but it's really for all the sort of growing and all that we see Lalita do in other versions and all the thoughts we see her have and whatever. This is a much more like blink my eyes, bat my lashes sort of version that
Yeah.
it's not,
Simpering.
yeah, it's simpering. You're quite right. And it just does not work. This film is also saddled with a lot of comedy uncles, but confusingly to me, I enjoyed them more than I enjoyed the main people
Oh
because
God.
while I don't want comedy uncles most of the time, I thought they were doing a very good job at this stuff. Fully unnecessary. Aruna Irani is there as one of their wives. There's no reason except for a dance number. Um, so they're fully unnecessary, but I did enjoy what they were bringing, and especially Om Shivpuri as Shekhar's father, I thought was like a very calculating and menacing
Yeah.
kind of guy. I thought he did really well. I also thought the guy who plays Girish or Girin was pretty good.
Mm.
I've seen him around here and
The
there.
Julie guy.
Yeah, this poor man does not have a Wikipedia. But I was
We'll
like,
just call him Julie guy.
yeah, he's like kind of tall and standardly handsome and like seems
Yeah.
decent and stuff. So I think he fills that role
Yeah.
well enough. But yeah, she is the weak link in this. And I don't know if it's the script or the direction or her or what, but it's just, ugh. And the poster, as you indicated, is amazing. If you are watching on YouTube, you will have noticed my background. The poster has Jitendra's face and her face and Girin's face all, drawn in that amazing 70s kind of, hand done
Yeah.
style. But Jitendra's face has been painted to look scaly. But in our conversations, I realized, oh, it's the stones of the wall that his dad builds between the two houses. I get it.
Yeah.
I was like, I actually really like this poster. At
Right.
first, I thought it was sort of, is he a snake? Is he like treacherous? What's going on? And it's brown instead of, if you're going to be snaky, be green. We all know that.
Right.
It's a few, I guess I don't know if he's filmed Nagin yet or not. It's that same, it comes out
Right.
the same year. So, uh, Shekhar is a snake, an Ichadari Nag.
No, I know. That would have been more fun. Yeah,
Uh,
it's basically he's the thing from
yeah.
Fantastic Four.
Yes, he looks like the thing. So the poster does actually make some sense and is pretty cool. And I'm a little embarrassed I
Yeah.
didn't figured it out sooner because I know about the wall. I remembered that from the
The wall.
Oh, what else about this movie would you like to?
The music was terrible. There was not once.
Great.
You know, I
Not
have
strong.
to say all three of the two Parineetas, the black and white Parineetas, as well as this Hindi Parineeta, I didn't like the music of any of them. I mean, they were not one memorable song in any of this. And again, a disappointment for me because I associate Jitendra with good foot tapping numbers. Now, you're maybe not going to get like a dance number or foot tapping number in this, given the story. I get that. But we could at least have gotten like one or two nice songs, and there wasn't anything in this for me.
I do
Um,
like that she sings for herself
mm,
once, which is or in a song in its revival, which I appreciate. And of course, if you don't know, Salakshanda Pandit also comes from an amazingly huge family, primarily of film musicians. So her biography is
yeah,
also, or her family tree is also really fascinating. This is Kalyanji Anandji, and it should be better.
it should be better. Yeah.
It's not.
I looked up this director and I realized he's terrible. So Anil Ganguly, I looked at his filmography. The only film of his that I like, that I realized I've seen many of his films, the only one that I liked is Kora Kagas, which has Jaya
Right.
Baduri in it. But other than that, the other films are so bad. He's made Sahib, which is terrible. And I've spoken about in the Amrita Singh episode. The only good thing about Sahib, of course, is the song Yar Bina Chain Ka Hare, which thank you, Papi Lahiri, for that banger. Uh,
Right.
but his filmography is basically pretty awful. And I discovered that Anil Ganguly is the dad of Rupali Ganguly, the actress, whom I primarily know from the sitcom Sarabhai versus Sarabhai. So I was like, oh my God, it's Monisha's dad. So that was more exciting to me.
And he's the father of a choreographer, Vijay Ganguly, who did Jaga Jasus, Andhadhun, Stree, Love
Oh,
Ajkal. So he did Galti Say Mistake and got a Filmfare.
okay.
So like another little film family here. How cool is,
Yeah.
but not like the Gangulys.
No, 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 no. But yeah, so this movie was definitely very dire. The costuming choices were terrible. The makeup was terrible. Everything was much worse. Also, I have to say this: I love Aruna Irani. I just adore her, but she
Yeah.
was very irritating in this movie to me. She was very
And
shrill.
there's no reason for her to be
There
here.
was no reason for her to be there. I
Yeah.
FF'd all of their scenes eventually. So
Yeah. This movie made a lot of subpar decisions kind of every step of the way.
yes,
Um, and I do real I'm very swayed by what you're saying about Jitendra maybe wanting to try this as an actor. And like this is well before his, sojourn in the South where he's cranking out identical
yeah,
films all the time. So this is not that Jitendra, but this is, mid 70s. But he's this big star at this time.
yeah.
I get why he'd want to do it. Um, the other thing I wanted, so this is the one I watched first. And I texted Pitu halfway through. I'm like, girl, I'm not gonna be able to watch four of these in like 6 days or however long I had left myself. Um, my mistake. And I did watch all four, so I did do it. But I
Yeah.
just, oh
But
no,
at what cost, Beth? At what
oh
cost?
no. This film, in contrast to the film that we are about to talk about, the 2005 version. Now, I do want to say this film has, even adjusted for inflation, 1/5 the budget, or sorry, 5% of the budget that the big 2005 one has is a very different scale. Very
Yes.
different. This 70s version does not, to my understanding, do anything interesting with being set in the 70s. Whereas the 2005 one, which moves the story to the early 1960s, does do interesting things
Yeah.
with setting. So this one feels anachronistic because they didn't change anything.
Yeah.
And I watch
I
a lot
mean,
of 70s Hindi films, and I can point to, I think, some things that could have easily been different in this one that would
yeah.
have made it more interesting at the very least.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of 70s movies have the heroine having a job.
That's
Like
the
she
kind of one.
was, at least like a secretary or something like that, or at least like a
And there
part-time
are,
job.
in some 70s films, there are very interesting discussions or at least depictions of religious differences for the end of
Hmm.
the film is very flat in that way.
I I think this movie is just very lazy. And it
Yeah.
was just like, here's the story. Let's just make it like let's just crank it out real quick in like 20 days, and we're not gonna make much of an effort and we're not gonna try. Because yes, the fact that it was made in the 70s and it's also set in the 70s does give you freedom. You could have Lalita have so much more agency than she does, and she has none. All she does is cry in this film, which was very I don't think even Meena Kumari cried as much as Sulakshana
No, no,
Pandit.
she didn't. Also,
Yeah.
all that this woman does is continually go back and pick up the dried garland of marigolds
Yeah.
that they had wed each other with, that she has kept, and she just picks it up and cries, or picks it up and looks wistful, or picks it up and opens her mouth like baby catfish. And it's the more the film went on, the more annoyed with her. I was.
Yeah.
And I just, at the end, I was like, oh God, it's over. Thank God. I don't care. This is so frustrating because clearly this is a text that speaks to people.
Yes.
Even if it doesn't speak to audiences, although it seems to, it very much speaks to creators.
Yeah.
There are all these adaptations of it. And you know, you should look up the author's his wiki to see all the different things that have been made out of
Hmm.
films because it's not just this in Devdas. There's a lot more.
Yeah.
Um, so and and for something that is so responded to, I'm
Mm.
not going to say loved, I'm going to say responded to because there could be lots of different reactions that still make it provocative. There's nothing provocative about this movie. There's
No.
interesting, it's
It's
giving
just lazy.
yeah, it's such a dud.
I almost wish that if they were going to do it, I don't think Anil Ganguly has it in him to do it, but I think I almost would have loved like a campy version
Yeah.
where it was meant to be fun, kind of like how the Devdas that I like the best is actually Dev D, because
Right.
it's so inventive and cool, and also it's the only one that does not valorize him and shows him to be the loser he is. So I prefer that message. Um, I wish that they'd almost done like a fun, campy version of this where, yes, cast Jitendra, have Aruna Irani in there, have, I don't know, some other actress in there who would be a lot of fun, like maybe Parveen Babi or something, and do something fun and interesting and campy and stay true to that story at the same time, because the story itself is very cool. The story itself is interesting. Two
Mhm.
people are neighbors, they grew up together, they love each other, but they haven't said so. There's money problems, and then will love surmount all. There's a secret marriage. I mean, it's a good plot.
Mhm.
And I think they could have done can you imagine if this had like disco music and stuff? I think it would be
I was
fun.
just thinking Disco Parinita would be good, like get
Disco
Yeah,
Parinita needs to happen.
Parveen Bobby in there and like or not our favorite, but Hema Malini would have been good
Yeah.
this kind of role, I think. Or Neetu or somebody, or
Asha Parekh could have been good.
I mean, give it to Reka and let her like crash the wall herself. Um, literally anyone else.
Yeah. Give her sequins and like those big polyester saris that we
Yeah.
love, and like the eyeliner and the very, very thin eyebrows. That would be fun. Like
Mhm.
Rekha in Dharmatma, that Rekha,
Right.
she would be. And you want a sex kitten like Sulakshana Pandit thinks she's being sex kitten? Fine. Put Rekha in those transparent Georgette saris with the knotted blouses.
The idea of Jitendra opposite Reka is very interesting to me. And at
Yeah,
first I was like, she'd eat him alive, but then I'm like, she could, because she can eat anyone alive.
she
But
can.
if he was in this for like a challenge to himself as an actor or whatever, like maybe that would have been a really
Yeah,
interesting. Boy, that's a weird pair in my head.
it
Have I
is a weird
seen
pair.
them they must have done movies together, but yeah, I'm just like, "Ugh, that's weird."
Yeah.
But yeah, there were a lot of opportunities for this,
Yeah.
and they didn't capitalize really on any of them. So
No.
I hope at least Jitendra felt proud of his performance or something because, and I don't mean that in a dismissive way. I really hope that whoever was choosing artistically for this film, if anyone, I hope that they at least feel satisfied because it was
Right.
really,
Not satisfying for us for sure. As I said, have some sankoch.
yeah.
Sometimes, the whole like motivational stuff where they're like, believe in yourself. I'm like, no, don't believe in yourself. We don't believe in you. Don't do
Can't do
this.
it. What are you, crazy? No, 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 no. Know your limits. Stay in your lane.
Exactly. Okay, do we want to talk
Yeah,
about the
we do.
2005 one?
Yeah, we do.
Yay! I love this movie. It just completed 20 years and they just re-released it in Mumbai on the big screen. And I saw like photos of Rekha was there, Vidya Balan was there in like a red sari, and Rekha was like posing with the poster and everything. They literally just released it like August 18th. So yeah, a lot of fun. This movie, I saw Parineeta at Niles Big Cinema back when I lived in Chicago, and I was transfixed. I walked in not knowing anything about the story. I had not heard of
Oh,
Parineeta
wow.
itself. Vidya Balan was a complete unknown entity to me because
Right.
this is her Hindi debut. Obviously, I
And she
did
had
know.
only one film prior, and it was
Yeah,
Bengali with
yeah.
Sudhir Chatterjee in it, interestingly.
Oh, nice. And I mean, I knew this movie had like Saif Ali Khan and Sanjay Dutt in it, but I just walked in cold and I loved the movie and I still do. Yeah. What are your, did you see Pranita when it came out, like in the theaters or
I
much
saw
later?
it not long after it came
Okay.
out. I would say like within a year and a half or so
Okay.
in the theater, but I did see it. Um, I think I remember not really loving this movie a whole lot,
Mm.
and I have never revisited it. So this was really fun. Again, on some of the blogs and I was reading and all, there were people who were like, I can't believe this remake. It's so bombastic, it's so filmy, they really destroyed
Someone called it
everything.
vulgar.
Yeah. Um, y'all need to calm down.
Yeah.
I think your opinions are wrong.
Yeah.
Someone is wrong on the internet. Um, I enjoyed the heck out of this. I thought it was an amazing
Yeah.
filmy
Yeah.
version. Now, if you want to call, I don't know, at what point is something an adaptation? At what point is it just sort of inspired by and has changed
Yeah.
so much?
I think this
I'm
is its own animal.
Yeah, I'm very happy for this not to be considered a Parineeta adaptation because it's so different. But it is different in ways that I think matter, that I think said something interesting, that gave the cast and crew something interesting to do, that
Yeah.
gave visitors something interesting to do. My only issue with this film is the really ridiculous ending, which I think is a lot of people's problem with this film.
Yes.
Um, However, I can even let that slide because so again, spoilers for those who don't know, in the end, uh, Seth Ali Khan as Shaker picks up a marble bird bath and punctures the wall that his father has built between the two properties. On his it's supposed to be his wedding to someone
Yeah.
else, and he like starts hitting it with a shovel and then like a big metal pole and other people are cheering him on, including his mother
Yeah.
who finally has stood up to her horrible husband. And I want to put
Hmm.
it in that because I want to talk about the horrible husband slash father. And then he picks up a marble bird bath like this is Bahubali and is slamming
Yeah.
it through the brick wall. But actually, as it was happening, I was like, oh yeah, this is really dumb. But then I thought, you know what? I'm on board. This whole thing is
Yeah.
film. And
Yeah.
if you're going to have a movie with a sex scene, balance it out in terms of like dramaticness and filminess and everything
Yeah.
with this. I have no problem with
Yeah.
this. And I thought it echoed very well something I hadn't really picked up on the other versions, which is that Shaker is deconstructing who he is and who he
Yeah.
has inherited from his father. So he is distancing himself from a toxic system. And in this film, the toxicity of his father is very highlighted. That's a change I also think is interesting and good. And we need to, criticize patriarchal stuff more. So that
Hmm.
was really good to me. So I actually don't have a problem with this. Um, it probably would have been better if he had I mean, it could have been done dramatically, but less dramatically and still worked, I think. But I
It
actually,
still worked for
on
me.
reflection, don't have a problem with
Yeah.
this. It's kind of silly, but it's filmy in a way that a lot of us really like, and
Yeah.
I am fine with it.
Yeah. I actually really enjoyed it and it really held up for me because this is a movie that I really enjoyed when I saw it in the theater, but it's not really a movie I go back to. Like it's not one of those movies I'll watch over and over again, mostly because it's very overwrought. I mean, the whole story of Bernita is overwrought. So but it's too much for me sometimes, which is why I have not rewatched it. But I really enjoyed it on this rewatch. And for me, honestly, the star of the show was Vidya Balan. I mean,
Yeah.
she is just radiant and wonderful. And I can't take my eyes off her in every scene that she does. I love her acting. I love how her character had so many shades to her, right? Like she I mean, there's Selection Abundant, which was complete cardboard caricature. But then this Parineeta, I found it so interesting how she's like demure, but also playful, but also coy. She plays her own games too with him. And she also has like
Yeah.
a cat and mouse thing going on with him. She's not quite as naive as she seems to be. She definitely is shrewder than she's given credit for, which I like. So she felt more like an actual human being and
Mhm.
someone you
And
actually
she's
know.
older. She's supposed to
She's
be
older.
what,
She
like
has a job.
22?
Yeah. I mean, because for her to work as a secretary, she has to at least have like passed her matric exams or something. And so she has to be at least like 21 or
And we
22 in this
see that
film.
there's flashback to show them as kids, and you see her as a teenager pulling up in is it a bike rickshaw? I can't remember, but she comes home
Mm.
from school and she's like, Shaker, Shaker, I came first in my exams. We never see the other Lalitas
Yeah.
achieve or accomplish anything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I get it, 1910s women in Bengal, whatever, but like
Right.
they've changed the setting and they've done something with it.
Yeah. I mean, I like that. I'm like, if you're gonna take it out of that era, then you might as well like try to be reflective of that era and take advantage of it. I like the fact that we see shots of her in the city. She's taking a tram to work, she's walking home, she's eating puchkas. Like she inhabits that city. In all the other Parineetas that we saw, she's enclosed inside that house all the time. The house to some extent is like suffocating. I found it suffocating. But in this one, there's as many exterior shots of her out and about in the world as there are within. And to me, that almost highlighted how suffocating I found her. Whenever she would be in Shekhar's room, it felt so much more suffocating to me because that room is so him, right? Like this is such
Mhm.
a petulant, bratty person, and this is his room and his stuff and his piano and his almirah that has his money in it. It's all me, 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 me. And she's kind of this person that walks into his world, kind of. So I loved when she would be out into her own world. She's such a different person when she's in her own home with her own family. She's lighter, she's happier. I love the interactions she has with her cousin, who's played by Raima Sen, who's adorable in this
Yeah,
film.
they're very cute.
They're so good together. I also loved her when she is hanging out with the ladies next door, and all the fun they have. They're baking a cake. This Lalita has a life of her own.
What is that little device that they bake the cake in?
It's like a little cooker. And in the 70s and stuff, when people did not have like ovens, I mean, even now in India,
Sure.
people don't have
Yeah,
ovens, right? So
why wouldn't you?
if you wanted to make a cake, there was like a little cooker that you could buy. And the only cake that anyone ever made was a tutti frutti cake. So like a vanilla cake, basically. You put vanilla extract, and then you could buy a packet called tutti frutti, which is basically like dried fruit, but really it's just sugary stuff. And you would mix that in. So it would be kind of like a mixed fruit cake. So that's what they're making it in. And I also found it I love the meet cute between her and Sanjay Dutt, where
Me too.
the fuse blows and she has a little candle and
Yeah.
she thinks that he's the electrician. I thought that was adorable. But
And the symbolism of him bringing light to
yes,
this house and this situation
yeah,
is really, really it was maybe a smidge heavy-handed, but I
yeah.
was into it. Love it.
I was fine with it. Because also like one thing I noticed, and I'm sure you can relate to this also, like we all know women that are two different people
Yeah.
when they're in healthy environments versus when they're with toxic men, right?
Yeah.
With Lalita, especially the way that the character is written and also the way that Vidya Balan plays it, every time she's with her own folks, she's with her mama mami and she's with her cousin, and when she's with the nice ladies next door, and even when she's with Sanjay Dutt, she's happy, she's having a good time, she's going to the Moulin Rouge, she's going to a cafe, she's eating
Doesn't
puchkas.
go to the Moulin Rouge.
Right. She's invited to go to the Moulin Rouge, but she doesn't go. But
Yeah.
and why doesn't she go? Because of Shekhar. Because he just wants to sit and pout in his stupid room and be emo all day. But when she's with him, she becomes emo too. And I was just like, girl, you gotta dump him. He's just sucking the life out of you. You gotta find someone who's like you, who is full of life, because he's just bringing you down. And that scene where she doesn't go to the Moulin Rouge because of him, I'm just so sad for her. I was like, stop it. Why are you crying on the bed? Get up and go.
Mm.
I feel like this movie really highlighted how toxic this character is.
Agree.
The way Ashok Kumar plays it, it's not very toxic. And then the way that Samitra Chatterjee plays it and the way Jitendra plays it, they're somewhat toxic and somewhat controlling, but it's still
Yeah.
like kind of vague. But the way that Saif Ali Khan plays him, he's petulant, he's egotistical, he's elitist, he's a brat, he's so privileged. And I don't know if I believe that this relationship is going to last, Beth. I'm happy for their happy ending, but I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
I really liked, so you said a couple things that I want to circle back to,
Hmm.
but one of the things I really liked in this that I did not remember is there is a scene where he slaps her when he thinks that she has married Girish, despite them already being married, for money, basically to pay off her uncle's, their
He
house.
also calls her the nastiest names.
Yeah, he
I was
does.
like, you shut up right now.
But nothing he's done is as bad as what his father
No.
does to her. His father's even worse. And I do want to talk about him as well. But then we also see his father slap him. So, like,
Yeah.
it's not an excuse. It is not. But you do see
The
that this
generational.
boy was raised in, and why he is so awful because his dad is even worse. And he apologizes and he says to his, well, wait, does he apologize to her? I think he does, but he says to his father, my God, you are so unhappy, you are so deprived of humanity and love. I even slapped my wife because of you. I am,
Hmm.
and he says, I'm going to go be a good husband and bring my wife to our home.
Right.
Well, and I kind of I'm mangling that a little bit, but I am someone with zero domestic abuse tolerance in media. Like I hate Lam Hay because
Right.
that, right? And that's the thing that I feel like no one ever talks about when they talk about that movie. But here somehow, and again, it is the 60s. Somehow I felt like the movie earns it. If such a thing can be earned, I feel like they've earned it. And they have both of the characters learn something from it.
Mm.
And her learning from it is that this guy, no, she has created this situation where he's super jealous. She doesn't say to him, I'm not married to Girish.
Yeah.
She lets him think it.
Assume.
So I'm not blaming her for being slapped. Absolutely not. But she knows that this boy is a petulant brat and she plays it up on purpose
Right.
because she's one of these people who thinks that jealousy is attractive, I think. Um,
Yeah.
she still has some growing up to do as well.
Yeah.
And you're right. I don't feel super, I mean, like because of the society that they're in, I'm sure they will stay married. It
Yeah.
probably will be horrible and empty and whatever, but at least in that moment, I feel like they are taking some steps as adults, at least a little bit.
Yeah. I think, yeah, I mean, I think she has a lot of growing up to do as well because she seems to think that this is love, and
Exactly.
I heartily disagree. And I think she also enjoys those games, which is why I
Absolutely.
said there's the whole cat
She's
and mouse thing.
manipulative, right?
She is,
I
yeah,
don't think we see in the other ones, and I
no,
can't speak to whether it's in the book, but I think it's a clever change because we see heroines doing this kind of stuff fairly
yeah,
often. And like that's out there in the atmosphere, right? For her to have picked up on, maybe she watches other women in the office. Maybe maybe this is
for
what
movies.
movies are like she and her siblings or cousins are talking about. We never hear them be like, here's how to trap a man kind of thing. But you can imagine that's in some of the fashion magazines or whatever they're probably
Yeah,
looking at because they are fairly modern girls. Like they talk about
right.
they have job, or she at least has a job. They're listening. And shockingly, the thing in this movie that shocks me is not the sex scene. It's that she is in his bedroom all the time, completely unsupervised, and nobody bats an eye, which I know is in the other ones as well.
Yeah,
But there's a lot more, I feel like there's a lot more people around more easily in the other one.
right.
In this one, his room is bigger and it's more it's part of the house. Obviously, it's not detached from the
Yeah,
house, but like it feels a little more secluded in a way, even though
yeah,
it's bigger. And like nobody's keeping an eye on them at all. So much so that they have sex
yeah.
when
I
everybody is next door to party. So like,
That's the other thing that confused me. Well, not confused me, but I found a little bit weird about all of the Parineeta movies that we've seen is that in India, I don't care what era it is, but if you are a girl, like a prepubescent girl or a teenager, there is absolutely no way someone is going to let you hang out constantly unsupervised in the neighboring boy's house, and you're going to be in his room and you're taking things out of his cupboard. It's completely incongruous. So I was
I think
like,
that's in the book because they all do it. They all do it.
yeah, so it has to be in the book.
And there's
But
something about her being in his cupboard. And obviously, there's the whole he's given her keys and says, take my pocket money
yeah,
as much as you want kind of thing. And I really liked in this. So this is in all the versions, but the fact that he is so free with money
yeah,
shows not only maybe something nice about him, but also that he's never had to worry about money. So he does not
right,
understand what it's like to have mortgaged your house,
yeah,
that kind of stuff. Like that's not his fault. It's just his upbringing. Like he doesn't know any different.
right,
Um, so I thought that I think that's a really important detail. And then the returning of those keys is also very
yeah.
significant. But yeah, it really. I didn't it didn't throw me in the other ones as much as it does in this one,
Mm,
probably because parents walk in and they're in there and the parents don't say anything and you're like, really?
yeah. No, and in this one, it's almost like too intimate in the sense that, like, when they're gonna get ready to go for Charu's wedding,
Mhm.
and her Seth's mom says to Vidya Balan's character, she says, "Oh, he's not ready yet," and he's like, "Oh, I can't find." I think she says, "Oh, he can't find his chain and his buttons or something,"
Right.
and Vidya Balan is looking for them, and I'm like, you know where this guy keeps like his getting ready stuff, and like, where he keeps his shirts and he keeps his stuff, like, that's a level of intimacy that I can't believe that these people, there's just so much sexual tension, there is so much boundary crossing in this, that
Is
I'm
it
like, do
also
not tell me you don't love each other.
is it also
Or
Mark? Because I feel like it comes through in some of the other ones a little bit more that she's a little bit servile to them, right?
yeah.
So, and that comes through in the other ones more because she,
Yes.
their class difference is not as highlighted in some ways in the 2005 one. So I kind of wonder if his mom just thinks of her as like a servant who would have put that stuff away. So of course they know where it is, but it does still read as
Or her
always,
mother is already plotting to acquire her as a daughter-in-law.
right?
The other thing that I found very interesting is in the other movies, like especially in the Bengali one with Maushami Chatterjee, there are references to how she doesn't have nice saris to wear.
Right.
And she wears really ordinary clothes and everything. And in one of the three films we saw, there's even a comment that one of the hero makes where he says, "Oh, you're married and you why are you dressed like this? You don't even have like a nice sari to wear to that wedding or whatever." So there are very much references to how her wardrobe is
Yeah.
not quite, but in this movie, she is decked up.
Decked.
That is a
Oh,
full-on designer wardrobe with like the sequins and the nice blouses and the latkans and everything, the jewelry and the makeup and all the things. Like, I don't know how much money this girl makes as a secretary, but all of it is going
well,
towards her
and
wardrobe.
this is another of this we've talked about this a little bit before, but and it's played out in different ways. I think this is the least effective at it. When Guru Chand, like Lalita's uncle, is worried, he's like, I'm poor. I'm like, you're not
Yeah.
poor. You mortgaged your house. Like there is a difference. You are not a servant. Your wife is not a servant. Your children are not servants. So like
Yeah.
if you have a home, you made a series of decisions that clearly you felt socially pressured to do and didn't really feel
Mhm.
you had a choice about. So I'm not saying you chose badly because I'm not sure free choice was really a thing, at least to some extent. Like, dude,
Yeah. Do you know that book? I like the title a lot. At the Villa of Reduced Circumstances. That's
right.
what this is. This is the Villa of Reduced Circumstances. They're not poor, and certainly her outfits and everything would not make you think so. But
And like it's a demask, what's the word? Uh, it's not demasculate. What's the word? What word do I mean?
I don't know.
When man's masculinity has been threatened. It's that, right? Because
Emasculated.
yeah, emasculate. There you go. Like he no longer owns, he does not have the
Right.
paper to his own home anymore, which
Yeah.
by the way, he did not build. He inherited it. He says that
Right.
this is my ancestral home or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do feel bad for that family and for him in some ways, but also I'm like, man,
Yeah.
yeah,
Now, one thing I did not like in the 2005 Parineeta is I could not stand the dad's character. I understand why they wanted to make him villainous, but that
talk
acting
about
was
it.
so bad. It was so bad, Beth. I
Oh,
could
I loved
not.
the performance of the
I
dad.
thought it was horrific. It was as bad as Amitabh. I could not stop thinking about Amitabh Bachchan in The Last Layer.
Uh,
Like, there was no
uh,
nuance. He was just shouty the whole time. He was just speaking in all caps the entire time. It was just like, I am bad guy. I thought he could have played it a lot better than that, because I thought everyone else did a good job. The
mhm.
woman who plays his wife, who I thought of as like Jaya Bachchan in Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, where she's like married to this horrible like dictatorial man, and she clearly does not agree, but she also has no voice. So the poor thing tries to make a few comments here and there, which are very much ignored. I thought she did a better job, but he was just like very, very over the top and annoying, and just very like, I am villain.
I really enjoyed him. I like that actor in the Bengali films I've seen him in. I will admit that I am because one of my notes to myself was, why are there so few Bengali actors in this? Because there's so many Bengali actors who also know Hindi.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
why, why? So we have Rama Sen, and then a lot
Yes.
of the like the more third level characters or whatever. But I was like, it's interesting that they didn't bring in I don't know who, but I enjoyed him. I thought, and I felt like through the film it amped up
Yeah.
in villainy and in sort of
Yeah.
because he's also getting increasingly frantic about because in this version he's going to turn the mortgaged house into a heritage hotel. And I was like,
Yeah.
this detail, very fun. I don't know if people were doing that in the 60s, but don't care. It's great. And for his business deal to fall through, and we actually see that when he does have to give the, return the deeds to the house, he gets yelled at on the phone by someone who's threatening to take him to court. So
Yeah.
we see the real consequences for him other than pride of
Yeah.
and just acquisitiveness of
I
that.
it
So
just
I
felt like
enjoyed
some
him.
of the dialogues they gave him were so
But yeah,
unnecessary, like
it's
where he
shocking.
calls her slutty and things. I mean,
Uh, he really
whereas where
goes overboard on that. Yeah. Although
yeah,
I
like
feel like he's vocalizing things that the other characters in the other versions are implying. Because a lot
mm,
of them say something about you got married in exchange for money. And part of me is
right,
like, all y'all are doing that because you're talking about dowries all the time. So like what's the
exactly.
here? But like this one is called out. And I think so he's just kind of putting forward some stuff that's in the background of the
Yeah.
yeah, but he
It
is
just didn't
very differently written for sure.
Yeah, it didn't sit well with me because I felt like the way that the elitism and the snobbiness and then the I am better than you think that Amitabh Bachchan does in K3G worked better for me. Like, where he clearly prefers Rani Mukherjee's character over Kajal because Rani Mukherjee is off their
Mhm.
socioeconomic strata, but he's so like elitist and awful about it, but in a much more subtle way. Like I felt like that would have been more effective.
Yeah, there's not a lot of
um
subtlety to that character.
no.
There was this, I made a note of this because there's a scene after he's already been rude to her. There's a scene where he offers her a ride home in the car. And
Mm,
I was thinking about like this must be something he does only because he happened to be coming upon her. Because like they live next door, he could give
yeah,
her a ride home any day, although probably she leaves before he does. But
right,
I thought that was interesting. So I'm like, he's not a total ogre, and it's not like
right.
he views her as I cannot speak, you are beneath my notice. Exactly. So
Yeah, she's in and out of his house all the time.
it's complicated in a way that I found
Yeah,
interesting. But yeah, he is very much a villain with a capital V.
yeah.
Um, let's talk about Sanjay Dutt really quickly since
Oh
he's
yeah,
enjoyable in
I
this
thought
role.
he was so charming in this, and I was just like, huh.
Do you
I
remember
mean,
at the time where people like, huh, with this casting or
I remember I was very with this casting because I think of Sanjay Dutt as like stoner guy, right? Like Sanjay Dutt as stoner guy works really well for me. Sanjay Dutt as person owning like steel mills or whatever he owns in England does not work as well for me. Sanjay Dutt as shrewd businessman does not work as well for me. I don't really think of him as that. Um, but I thought it worked really well for me. He just kind of had this easy charm about him and this like twinkle in his eye. I mostly just like that his character was not uptight because Shekhar
right.
is such a tool. Like, he's like, ugh, he's wearing a suit and he's eating puchkas. I'm like, can you just chill for five
I mean,
seconds? Like
he's instantly threatened by this guy, which I thought they conveyed
instantly.
really, really well. And they have this kind of
Yeah.
I was thinking about the competing influences. So like Girish is very England oriented, where Shekhar is
Yeah.
very America oriented
Yeah.
with his Elvis album and stuff. So I thought that was
Mm,
kind of an interesting little pairing. But and he refers to Girish as like where's this guy when the English left and stuff like that. So he's close
hmm.
and he's I think pointing out the age difference, which is
Right.
prominent.
Yes. Yes.
Although Seth is 9 years older than Vidya, which I was bigger than I thought it was. Um,
But it they look good to me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where Sanjay is like a good 20 years older than she is. So
I also really liked when Rema Sen was like obviously and openly flirting with him because she's so
yeah,
cute and the way she's like always trying to like catch his eye and bumping into him and everything. I just thought that was adorable. I did feel bad for her character though because he's clearly smitten with Lalita
yeah.
and then he's gonna like marry
Well, the two
her.
allied, it's a different amount of time in the different films, but it's a year and a half, 3 years, whatever. So I like to think that somewhere in there he opened his heart to someone else a little bit, but it's a little hard to tell sometimes.
Yeah. But I felt like his character was so much more fun. Like, the things they see, like he knows how to have a good time.
Mhm.
He goes to the Moulin Rouge. He wants to take them to Fleury's. I love the scene where they're doing like the Ouija board.
That was cute.
Like that was so
Yeah.
funny. I don't think I've ever seen a Ouija board in like a Hindi movie, except for unless it's like an out and out like horror movie. Um, he's playing cards with them. He's just like a fun dude. And by the way, he's loaded. What's not to like about him?
Mhm.
Contrast him with Saif Ali Khan, who's always stuck in his either in the recording studio where he's bullying the poor singers and being a jerk to his best friend, or he's at home listening to Elvis and playing his music. And he comes across as such a tool, honestly. And I had so much conflict because on the one hand, I was like, this character is terrible. I hate him. But also on the other hand, I was thirsting over him the whole time.
He looks good. He looks
He
really
looks
good.
so good. I don't think I've seen a movie in which Saif Ali Khan looks better than he does in this.
I mean, this is who I imagine Saif Ali Khan to be. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like this is when you see pictures of him at his home or whatever, like
Yeah.
same guy or same vibes, right? So,
Yeah. Exactly.
and I don't know and I don't need to know, but and we will probably never know, but it does feel like, oh, this is an easy role
Yeah.
for you to play.
But he looks so good in like the kurta pajamas, like the batik kurta that he
An
wears. He looks so
elegant
nice.
guy. He really is,
So
I
good.
think, which is
And
why one of the reasons I love Agent Vinod so much is because he wears the
mm,
out of those suits.
yeah, he's very dapper. I love him in that song Customize, where he's the muffler and everything, and he's in the little toy train in Darjeeling. And then
Mhm.
I love his banyan. Oh, I was texting Beth because Beth was like, I might skim through the 2005 one. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, oh, Beth, he's wearing a white banyan and he's singing along to like an Elvis Presley song. I was like, this is my jam. Like, please, I say as a friend, do not skim this movie. You have to just admire the beauty that is
Mhm.
Saif in this film. He's very beautiful.
Mhm.
He's very enjoyable. So yeah, it was very difficult for me to thirst over him because I just wanted to slap his character so many times. And especially when he hit Lalita, I was just like, I'm gonna push you down the stairs.
Yeah,
So yeah,
they're both such brats at that point. I kind
yeah,
of wonder if Gurish, because she's deranged at this point,
yeah,
with her secret marriage.
yeah,
And the whole concept of secret marriage is like, ugh.
yeah,
All right. And I wonder if that helps Girish get over her
yeah.
out of her mind. And she's almost like, I know I think you still haven't seen Bulbulaya 3, right?
I still have not.
So, Vidya is in that and gets to be a little cray cray in it. And I was actually
Okay.
thinking about that. I was like, she's and the director does, Pradeep Sarkar loves her eyes as he should.
Yes.
And so many great scenes of her looking, and that's kind of how she's introduced to us and all this stuff. But you can kind of see like, I feel like you see this flash of like crazy back there. Um,
Yeah.
it's not her fault. Like there's a lot, and also that this poor girl, like her parents are dead, like doesn't
Yeah.
have an easy life in some ways. And this version particularly, she's really making the most of what the opportunities she has had.
Yeah.
Um,
She's also burdened with the secret of knowing what
yes,
the guy's plan is with
yes.
the Heritage Hotel.
And
And that's a heavy
she
burden to bear.
and she never tells Shekhar what his dad is up to, which I think is really interesting. She lets Shekhar realize his dad's villainy on his own, which
Yeah.
um I'm not sure I could have held out in the face of.
Yeah.
And I think that narratively is really clever.
I also like that showdown between Shekhar and his dad. It reminded me of Diwar a little bit
Yeah.
because, in Diwar, where it's like, Mere paas maa hai, and there's the scene where he talks about you have all this wealth, but you're going to lose your son. Like,
Mhm,
your only child is
mhm.
basically going to go no contact with you. And I thought that was like a really good, like,
If the older brother isn't even in this one, right?
no, I think Saif is basically an only child in this film,
Yeah.
right?
Or
Yeah.
was there a sister-in-law running around? I can't remember which
I think
version of
so.
Susan is which
Yeah.
at this
I
point.
felt like the whole Dear Mirza thing was unnecessary, to be honest.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
it was fine, but
he goes to meet other potential brides and the other ones, but I didn't,
nothing comes of it.
yeah, I didn't really need that. Although I feel bad that I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I do think that the jealousy Lolita feels for whatever her name is,
Mm.
um,
Gayatri Tantia.
Gayatri, you see Lolita grappling with that in a way that I found interesting. And also, like, yeah, I can see a teenager kind of, or a 20-year-old or whatever, especially when you feel threatened about something where you're not even sure what it is you feel threatened about. Like, she hasn't quite sorted out her feelings for Shekar at that point.
Yeah.
So that tracked for me. I liked it. So again, it was a change that I felt they did something interesting with. I didn't need it, but I felt it worked.
Yeah, I like that scene where he says something about like, well, she wears heels, which is obviously not
Yeah.
something you could do. And she's like, I can wear heels. And then she's like tripping all over her heels. But again, I think that was a very interesting way to also show kind of like, the middle class and the insecurities that they have about those that are deemed to be richer, more westernized, more worldly in a way, and more fashionable. She's always wearing salwar kameezes, she's always wearing saris, and then and then he's talking about how she was wearing this like off-shoulder dress, very English, and she's like, I could wear something like that. And so I just like that her character had so many different shades to it.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
like the jealousy he feels, the jealousy she feels, they're a very codependent
Yeah.
couple, Beth.
Yeah.
And that is why I can't remember, was it you and I who had this conversation? I had this conversation with someone where we said that we don't see the characters of Geet and Aditya sticking together and having a successful marriage after Jab we met,
Yeah.
like 10 years, 15 years down the line, because they're just such polar opposites. I felt kind of the same way about these guys. Like, I'm happy they got their happy ending
Hmm.
and I wish them well, but can Shekhar's character undo and unlearn all of the bullshit that he has learned since his
And especially
childhood?
because in this version, his dad is not dead.
You're right.
His dad doesn't die, and all the other ones that both the patriarchs die,
Yeah.
which I was taking as a like they had to in order for things to go the way we want them to.
Paved the way, kind of.
And so
Yeah.
this one, like, and is Shikha really gonna like leave that house? No, he's not.
No,
He wants
he's
them.
going to live there. He's going to be part of his business. And I think eventually I see this character not necessarily turning into his dad, but the musician Shaker is going to be subsumed by businessman Shaker. And eventually, 20 years down the line, Vidya Balan is going to be his mom, nagging the husband to make better choices. So, unfortunately, I am not optimistic about this couple lasting, but I'm happy for them at the end of the movie. So, I think that Pradeep Sarkar did a really good job with this film. I like that they took full advantage of the era that they set it in, and I like the choices they made. Do you think this movie would have worked for you if they had made it more contemporaneous? Like, I don't think this would have worked in the 2000s. Would it?
Gosh, I off the top of my head, I'd say no, but maybe if they did the Dev DU treatment, right? Like that they
Mm,
really altered it. Um,
yeah.
maybe. Yeah.
But yeah, no problem with the 70s setting either.
Mm.
Also, I love the music of this film. That is the thing. The other three films just don't have good music, and this one, every song is such a banger. My favorite is Casto Maza on the on the train. That is very cute.
Yeah, that's very cute.
Yeah.
Very cute. I I don't know. Yeah, I enjoyed the music in this one. I don't really like Reika's cameo in this.
Oh, you don't? Why?
No, there's this level of I was trying because I've watched that song in isolation many times.
Yeah.
And I'm glad Reika was there. Always glad to see Reika. This is the kind of thing that makes sense for her to be cast in. There was a there was something about, and I think it's mostly the backing dancers, where I just felt like there was
Mm,
this self-consciousness around this number in a way like I didn't feel that they had all really surrendered to we are in a Calcutta 60s nightclub, which I have seen depicted in 60s Bengali films and which looks like an amazing time to be alive and be rich, frankly.
right.
Looks great. So I don't have any issue with it being there or anything, but there was something artificial about it to me, or like the people weren't really in.
Selling it. Yeah.
I did really appreciate that, like she brought them up on stage, but then they left again. I thought that was cute and like kind of had like Sanjay Dutt pretending to play the saxophone or whatever. I was like, no, that was not selling it for me. But like Rima Sen like knocking over a glass and stuff. That made sense
Yeah.
to me. And like then the opportunity for those two to dance and for her little crush to kind of grow. Like I thought that was really what those so they
Yeah,
did
that was
things
cute.
with it, but there's something about it that doesn't quite work for me, even if
Mm,
I wanted to. But I'm not mad it's there or anything.
right.
I just mm.
Okay. Well, it is time for our Nirma Detergent, Tekia, Lux Shoes, Sabyasachi Mukherjee Saris Award Night. This
Ah.
is just the Parineeta Awards, and this is a jury, a star-studded jury of two people, namely myself and you.
Mhm.
Um, so, who do you award for best film of the four we have seen?
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I think it's the 2005 Hindi is my favorite of the four that we watched. I'm
Same.
very surprised to hear myself say this, followed by the Bengali one, and the other two are way below, with the Jitendra
Yeah,
being the absolute bottom.
that would be my ranking as well.
Oh, but
Then
you have Sun Coach being higher than the 50s one.
only for Jitendra.
Okay.
But overall, movie wise, the 1953 one is still better. So my
Okay.
ranking would
Okay.
also be
Yeah.
2005, then 1969, 1976, and then 1953. Sorry, 1953 and then
Okay.
1976.
The same.
Who is your favorite Parineeta actress?
I mean, this is where it's tricky because I do think that 2005 is just a different
Yeah,
beat altogether, but it's pretty hard to beat Vidya Balan in this. She has the most to do. She's given
yeah,
the most scope, so it's hard not to like it the most for me.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
right.
So the ranking for me also would be Vidya Balan, followed by Maushami Chatterjee, followed by Meena, and then followed by Sulakshana Pandit.
Uh,
Okay, so far we are aligned.
mhm.
What about who was your favorite shaker? How would you rank the four shakers?
Um, I think I have to give this one to Sumitra Chatterjee,
Okay.
followed by Seth, followed by Ashok Kumar, followed by,
Jitendra.
well, maybe I would. It's this world where I'm going to flip Jitendra and Ashok Kumar. Like, I don't understand what's going on here. If you
Ah,
asked me before we discussed, I would have said Ashok Kumar, then Jitendra, but maybe I'll flip it based on the points
yeah.
you're putting forward. So, yeah, I guess Sumitra, Seth, Jitendra, Ashok.
Feels wrong just to say it.
Wild.
Um, So this is where we are a little bit
Sure.
unaligned. My number one shaker would be Saif Ali Khan. Love him as much as I hate him, the
Mhm.
character.
Yeah. There's a lot
Followed
to
by
respond to for sure. There's a lot.
he's giving us a lot.
Yeah, he is.
But I also really like Samitra, and I think that Samitra Chatterjee's shaker and I think that Lalita they can actually be happy together.
Yes.
So I have far better hopes for their happiness than I do for this
True.
Lalita and Shekhar. But my favorite Shekhar is Seth,
Mhm.
followed by Samitra Chatterjee, followed by Jitendra,
Mhm.
followed by Ashok Kumar.
Mhm.
A moment of appreciation for Sheikh's wardrobe and extreme beauty in this movie.
Yeah.
Um, and then I think the music, no brainer. Parineeta 2005 wins all the
Yeah.
awards. Costuming, no brainer.
Do I remember right that it does not have any of the bowel music in it?
Correct.
Okay. And I do love that and like that
Yeah.
wandering character. I think that's really clever. So again, I would do the 1969 one is second.
Yeah.
Music
For
is
sure.
it's got a great music director, so no
Yeah.
surprise there. But yeah, the music in this one is, I mean, I've been singing their like Rabindra Sangeet
Yeah.
in and out thing since I watched the movie yesterday. I've been humming it to myself. So yeah,
It's so good. Costuming, again, I think it's a no brainer.
so
It's the
different.
2005.
It
Um,
has so much more money in it. So much
yeah.
more money. The budget for this has to be like at least 10 times any of the others.
Yeah. But we have seen many movies where the very big bloated budgets
I
did not do
know.
anything, where they
I
were just
know. They do
wasted.
really use it here. And
They do
maybe
use it.
I'm sure some people would say they overuse it in certain ways. Like, did Amitabh Bachchan need to be the narrator? No, I'm fine. It sounded very official and everything. Like something's gonna happen for real if he's narrating it, whatever. But
Well, also they had to have an item number by Rekha, so yes,
sure.
their budget was very high.
Yeah. Love
Um,
the audacity of putting both those people in movie in the little cameos and not having them interact.
I loved it.
I'd never thought about that, even though I knew they were both there, but like I hadn't thought about that. And I just had a good laugh to myself.
That is another IMDb credit that they can both get.
Mhm.
And then my final question for the award night. Most sexiest person, your options are Sefali Khan, Sefali Khan, Sefali Khan, and Sefali Khan.
Well, so you were sending me pictures, texting while we were watching this. So like which outfit is it? And I think I have to give it to like super preppy Burberry scarf
Ah,
train.
Customizer.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cute. I think my award for his best look in this movie would be his batik yellow and brown kurta, which is the sideways with the dhoti and the playing of the
Yeah.
music on the boat in the Hooghly River.
One of the times I've been to Calcutta, a friend of the host we were staying with very kindly gifted me some batik fabric, kind of like that.
Mm.
I'd never really seen it. I've seen batik fabric, but like from Indonesia and places like
Oh,
that. So
yeah.
it's new to me. So it was very interesting to see it in the Calcutta context again. I was like, oh,
He looked so good in that. I was just like, yeah, this movie has very many opportunities for thirsting, I would say. Um, okay, our awards night is concluded. And there were some upsets. We were
yeah.
shocked that we ranked Jitendra higher than Ashok Kumar, but other than that, yeah,
What's
very cool. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you hate me for suggesting this
I
project?
don't. I don't. I do kind of wish our timing had been able to shake out a little differently, but I mean, we've known this would be coming for a while, but I
Yeah,
think I think we maybe only had decided on those four as opposed to just two
yeah,
a little later. But you know what? There, as much as my brain was swimming, so listeners, if you are to attempt a project like this and you would like to keep things straight, make yourself a little spreadsheet or something where you can,
yeah,
because I think there were differences in the timing of certain plot elements too, like is she married before, or is there secret marriage before or after this thing? Does he give back the keys before? So like there
yeah.
are things that I wish I could keep straight in my head, but it was also very fascinating to watch them all in such close quarters to really get to do some compare contrast. So
It
I
was
prefer
fun.
a lot, especially of the more of the black and white ones. Well, no, no, actually of Sun Coach and the first Hindi one. I think a lot of those would have slipped away from me had I not watched them. Boom, 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 boom. So
Right. Yeah, it felt like those art contests because when I was in school, I participated in art contests a lot, and my favorite art contests were the ones where they would give you like a very vague idea and
yeah.
they would make you draw something based on that, and it was really wild the things that people would come up with, right? And so to me, I it's the same. It's like if you say raindrop. And then you see what comes. It's like a Rorschach test, and it's like, what do people think of when they think of that? And so it's kind of interesting to see where the directors and where the writers and where the actors take that story. So that was very interesting. Do you think, well, I was looking at the time frames and I figured that it's been remade at these certain intervals, right? Like 53 and then 69 and then 76. So like maybe like 12 years in between. And then in the 80s and 90s, no one seems to have attempted this. Maybe because Sankoch gave them Sankoch. And then 2005, Parineeta came out. So do we think that it is ripe for another remake? Because people seem to be
No,
wanting to make this.
it sounds like the 2019 Bengali version is
Hmm.
kind of it's Wikipedia says it's a thriller, a romantic thriller with vigilante aspects. So I'm like, I want to see that. That sounds weird.
So I do. Maybe it's not this story then. Maybe they just gave her that name.
Maybe not.
Because Parineeta is a pretty
Oh,
common first name in Bengal, at least. And
mm,
then there's of course Parineeti Chopra too. So maybe it's not this story. Because I think I saw ads for it on YouTube when I was looking
mm.
for this one. Oh, also I have to tell you, this is so funny. When I was watching the 1969 Bengali Parineeta on YouTube, it I think this was just like I don't know where this person had ripped this movie from, but at the bottom I kept getting ads for like the Bengali Ahat, so like the really cheap like horror show. So it was really
I,
like taking me out. Like I'm like, oh, there's Samitra Chatterjee. Oh, he's being so cute. Oh, I like his outfit. I like the way he's looking at Mashmi Chatterjee. Oh, this darling. And then it's like Ahat every Wednesday or whatever. And I'm like, what? So it was funny.
I don't know what this has attempted rape in it and stuff. So like I don't maybe
Mm.
okay, so maybe this is just the name.
Yeah, I think
My
maybe it's just the
apologies for
name.
confusing things. I would like to see the Bangladeshi version. I think I've seen all of like three Bangladeshi films in my life. So this would be an interesting one to watch. Although I do need a little bit of a break from Parineeta's
Yeah,
from
you need a break from Parineeta, I
Rajendra.
think.
I've
Yeah.
been for a while, but
We need a break from Sarat Chandra Chattopadhyay, let's just say.
and he's,
Um,
especially if you watch Bengali films, he's everywhere.
yeah. Is there, if you were a producer,
Mm.
Filmi Ladies Vahva Productions Private Limited, and if you had the couch cushion money to attempt a Parineeta today in 2025, whom would you cast as Parineeta and as Shikhar?
I mean, let's like gender flip it and stuff. Let's
Yes.
do that kind of thing. Like we've got gender flip Devdases out there and stuff. So let's do that. Um, no, are they sort of like 20-ish? Is that what we're gonna
Yeah.
stick to? Yeah. Wow. I don't who's like could we put a woman in there who's just like a bitch?
Yeah, we
You know what
could.
I mean? Like who's the woman version of Shekhar? Toxic woman, you know? Like who's Amrita Singh but now,
I love Amrita Singh so much.
right? I don't know don't say her daughter because I don't think it's her daughter. Uh
Who
um,
is also Seth's daughter.
right. So I don't know who that would be, but like, oh, you know who I think would be good at this would be
Who?
like a Apte. I know she's not quite the right
Oh
age. Like
yeah.
someone I haven't seen her in a while, by the way, and I miss her.
Oh,
I'm sure she's
she
doing
had a
good. I
baby.
just okay, good for her. Or
Yeah,
like
she could be good.
Huma Qureshi. I love Huma Qureshi. Like I think she could be really good as a woman. And then you could put, I don't know who you'd put in,
You know who I think could
who's like
also be good?
a,
Sonakshi Sinha.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I really liked her in The Hard, and
yeah.
I think she also plays some of those like coquettish
Mhm.
games in Lutera. So I think Sonakshi Sinha could
And
be
we need
good.
like a soft boy to be you know,
Yeah.
the neighboring boy from
The impoverished boy next door.
yeah.
Wait, that's like Ranveer Singh in Lutera. We basically just wants her jaidad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
Although
Okay.
honestly, when I'm in charge of, when it's my turn to make the movie for Filmy Ladies Vava Productions, this is not the script I will pick, I'm sure.
No, I'm sure you will stay as far away from Sarat Chandra Chattopadhyay as you can.
What if Parineeta plus snake film equals Filmy Ladies Vava banner production?
I'm glad we have day jobs.
I know. We'd be so broke as film producers. But at
We
least
would be
we would
the
have
Shashi
attempted
Kapoor of film
something.
producers.
We would have
Our
had an
films would
artistic
be,
vision and gone for it.
yeah, we would have been the Shashi Kapoor of film producers where our films would eventually become cult classics, but while they were being made, we would be dead ridden.
We'd have to be selling our vehicles and we'll
Yeah. Sorry, Beth, you have to walk to work. I'm very sorry. You have to walk to
have to
work in
get
like a
get
Midwestern
our
winter
have to get our brother Raj to make a film for us.
and bail us out. Yeah,
So
unfortunately. Unfortunately, I have no brother. I only have three animals and they have no money.
I have no brother. It's best we stick to our day jobs, like you said.
Let's just don't quit your day job. We've already seen what happened when MF Hussein tried to become a director, so let's not go down that path. Um, all right, I think that concludes this marathon
Hmm.
endeavor. I feel like someone needs to be giving us like a degree or a diploma at the very least
Right.
for this academic dissertation, very serious job that we've done. Maybe I'll get my cat to like write us up a diploma or something.
Yeah, we'll paw print on it for official.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I very much care about my cat's opinion more than I care about most people's, as I should. So, it's
Oh,
if
good.
she gives me her paw of approval, I'm good with that. Guys, tell us, have you seen Parineeta, Sankoch, and Parineeta? Which of the four Parineetas is your favorite?
And who will be
Uh,
the first person to comment? I didn't even know Suncoach existed. Someone is going to say that because that every time you look it up, there's someone who's like, huh?
yeah.
And
Also,
understandably.
you know how like Tiger Shroff has like fans and like Fardeen Khan has fans. Fardeen Khan fan club started following our Instagram when we did the Feroz Khan episode, and I was like, wow,
Yay.
Fardeen Khan has a fan club.
Yeah.
So anyway, I am very curious to see if there's like a selection up under fan club. I'm so curious. I'm
I
sure it
don't know.
exists, Beth. There's a fan club
Yeah.
for everyone.
Back when I was, with Twitter or blogs, even the, I encountered a lot of 70s oriented people. I count myself as one of them, but I've lost touch with a lot of that since moving to Bluesky. So yeah, mega deep 70s cuts.
Maybe they will come and they
But
will be
like
like
a fan club for her, I feel like would be pretty niche.
very niche, but they will
Welcome you.
convince us in the comments that she was the best of the Parineetas, and how dare we
You
not
could
appreciate her
certainly
awesomeness.
suggest to me other things of hers that I should watch where she is better, because I've seen her be better than this.
Yeah,
And again, the script was not helping her at all, or the direction. So it's not only her fault, but she was
no,
pretty bad.
yeah. Okay, tell us what you think. Tell us the good, bad, and ugly of the Pranita movies. What do you think of Shekhar? Do you, like me, think that Shekhar and Lalita, at least the 2005 ones, they're not really going to work out? It's going to be an acrimonious divorce, and she's going to, in my version, I hope Lalita takes over the family fortune. Because of course I want her to. Anyway, thank you for watching Filmi Ladies, and we will see you next week. Bye.